All right, good evening, everyone. Happy Friday. Today, we are going to be doing a quick flight from Boston to Albany and showcasing the new desktop web application, flight-io. Really a EFB that's meant to be universal for flight simmers and is actually really helpful for both PC and Xbox users. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get started and take a look. All right. So we are here at Logan in Boston. This is actually the new E-terminal. This airport is actually from Fly Tampa, so really nice looking. So before we get started, let's actually just run through a little bit about flight-io. Let me bring that up on the screen here. And actually, you know what? Give me one moment. I just need to get the right browser window configured here. Bear with me. Okay, there we go. All right. So yeah, first you navigate to flight-io. This is basically what the display looks like, pretty blank right now, and we'll just kind of do a brief run through before we get going with starting our flight. So if you haven't used this before, the first thing you're going to want to do is go up to your settings. There's a few things that need to be configured before we can get started. So let's do that. So in the settings here, you're going to see a few different options. You're going to see import or config file, which obviously this is our first time. We don't have one set up yet, so we're not going to be doing that right away. So we'll skip that for now. We'll come back to that. METAR source, this is going to be where you're pulling your weather information from. We may even expand this more in the future, but for now we have aviationweather.gov, which is a popular source for really US airports mostly. And then we also have METARs from the VATSIM network. So if you're flying on PC and you use VATSIM, I suggest to switch it to this so that while you're on live weather, your METARs are in sync with what the live weather is for VATSIM. So today we're actually on Xbox, so I'm going to stick with the aviationweather.gov source here. SimBrief Pilot ID. So if you do use SimBrief, which I highly recommend, it actually makes a lot of the automations in this a lot nicer. You're going to want to put your SimBrief Pilot ID here. So that can be found when you go into SimBrief. I'll just open up a recent flight plan I did here. Down here in your account settings is where you can find that Pilot ID number. All right, but jumping back here, we'll actually pull that in. I'm going to import a config file in just a moment, and we'll get that SimBrief Pilot ID in there. Oops, sorry. Settings. So the checklist bundle. This is something we're going to be expanding on further in the future right now. For right now, we do have the A320 checklist, and this is just one I put together from a lot of common steps I've seen in different, pilot checklist. I'm not an actual pilot myself, so I've just done a lot of learning, and this is something that can be customized too, so it serves as a good starting point. So I'm going to go ahead and select this one, and you'll actually see now if I go select the customized checklist bundle, a lot of that information is pre-filled here. So I have checklists for the pre-flight checklists, I have taxi checklists, in-flight checklists, landing, after landing, and even some emergency checklists here. So if you wanted to go in and edit any of these or kind of see what's in the checklist, this is where you would go. So let's just say, for example, let's pull up on a random one here, our pre-takeoff checklist. I'm going to expand this one, and we can see each of the checklist steps here. So we have all of our steps. This is what's going to be read out by the EFB. So the checklists are actual audio checklist. They're meant to be kind of hands-free, so you can actually just have these read off to you, and then there's voice recognition, so you can talk back to it and it will actually continue and proceed your checklist. The voice recognition part is optional. If you don't want to be speaking back to the checklist, you can simply use keyboard shortcuts or the buttons on the UI, which we'll cover in a little bit. And if you wanted to edit these, so the answers, the responses here are all by default going to be check. You can see some of these have been modified to use different words. So this is basically what the voice recognition is going to listen for as the positive answer. And what's the positive answer? That is what's going to precede the checklist to the next checklist item. So typically that means, that checklist item has passed and we're ready to move on to the next one. The cancel answer is always set default to cancel. That one I would suggest leaving as is. As you can see in a lot of these, I just left it as cancel. You can change the word if you want, but that's just going to, at any point in your checklist, if you say, hey, you know what, cancel this checklist, you can say that and it will just stop reading the checklist and complete it for you so you can proceed with doing other things. The neutral answers, you get two options here. They are optional, and you'll actually see in the default one, I don't really use them, but these are really there if you want to have another word that is recorded in your log that's not preceding it to the next checklist item, but it's also not canceling it. So really just something to kind of pause in the middle until you're ready to proceed. You can use these neutral answers if you wanted to. So maybe a word like checking instead of check. Like if it's something's going to take you a little while, you can say something like that, and that'll just kind of temporarily pause it, and then it will wait for you to move on to the next one. And actually, let me refresh here too. I want to show you what it looks like on a blank slate. So if you wanted to create that completely from scratch, you would not choose a checklist bundle here. You would just directly go down to customize checklist bundle. You're going to add a checklist bundle name here. So this can be whatever you want to name it, and it will be able to be saved for later use. And then you'll have a blank slate here. So pre-flight checklist, you'd go ahead and add the actual checklist name. So let's just call it maybe the walk around checklist. And you don't actually have to put the word checklist at the end. That'll always be read out. So just don't put the word checklist in your titles. Then you're going to go ahead and click expand here, and then you can hit the plus button here to add as many checklist items as you want. You can remove them and do what you need to do to edit these manually. So that, obviously if you're going to start from scratch, which is fine, you may have a checklist you really want to use and get in here. That's perfectly fine. It'll probably take a little while and you don't want to lose that information. So let's actually, I'm just refreshing here. Let's now talk about the config files. So once you've gone through and gotten everything set up the way that you want to use the tool, there's this export config file here. And what that is going to do is save a file to your device so that you can use it the next time you use Flight Dash. And then you basically just import it right here. So I'm actually going to show you that in just a moment. But you may be thinking, why are you doing it this way? Why can't you just save my checklist? And why do I need a config file? The reason we're doing it this way, which is obviously a little bit different than how other applications work, is we're just trying to completely reduce the amount of data privacy things we need to worry about, really. This is a free open source applications. We really don't want to be collecting user data, accounts, things like that. And the way around that is just basically allowing you to save your own settings on your own device and then upload them whenever you want to use the tool. So it's really not shared with anyone. It's just, your own config file that you can keep wherever you want. Okay, so that's a brief explanation. So yeah, let's start getting configured. I am going to choose a file here. And I don't think my files show up on the screen when I'm streaming here, but I am actually just going through a list right now and finding my config file. I'm opening that up, and you can actually see that it just pre-filled some of the information for me here. I don't have a checklist bundle selected, but if I hit customize, you can see that I do have a lot of the checklist information pre-filled in here. So this is actually the A320 default one that's already in there. I think I may have made a few tweaks in here, but it's essentially just the default one that I'm going to be using. So I'm not going to select a checklist bundle. I'm going to use that. My SimBrief pilot ID came in. It also switched the METAR source for me to VATSIM. But again, today I'm flying Xbox, so I'm going to switch this over to aviationweather.gov. All right, so we're good. At the end of that, scroll down and just click Save and Close. All right, I'm just going to click Agree to this little terms of use and privacy policy thing here. So let's talk about the interface a little bit, and we'll actually start with checklists. So you have some tabs up at the top here to kind of select what you want to do. Checklists, airports, flight plan, charts, flight stats. We'll get into each of those. On the left here, you have your pilot log, and this is kind of what keeps a really just a log of what's going on with your checklists as you're completing them. You can actually even type things in here. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. So hello, welcome to my stream. I'll type that in and click send.
Hello, welcome to my stream.
And you can actually hear it gets read out by the tool. So you can actually just type in things here if you want. I actually kind of find this convenient. Maybe if I'm doing a stream or something at night, my family is sleeping and I don't want to be talking like I am now, but I kind of want to be able to say things during my stream, maybe to chat or, just to narrate things. Sometimes I'll just come in here and type things so that it can be audible and I don't actually have to speak. So that's one use case for that. But let's actually jump into checklist next. I'm going to open that up. So you're going to see different columns here. We have one for pre-flight, another one for taxi, in-flight, landing, after landing, and emergency checklist, which hopefully we won't need to use any of those today. But you're going to have a button for each of your different checklists, and these are all generated based on that checklist that we configured earlier. So let's just pick a random one here. Let's do pre-takeoff again. I'm going to go ahead and click that. I'm actually going to show you the voice recognition first. So before I click that, I'm going to come down to this microphone button here and enable this. That'll actually enable the microphone to be listening for our voice recognition. If it's your first time using it, you may get a pop-up from the browser asking you permission to use the microphone. So if you see that, you just click yes, and that will go ahead and allow the voice recognition to work. So I'm going to turn that on, and let's start a checklist here.
Pre-takeoff checklist. Request takeoff clearance.
Takeoff clearance approved.
Takeoff clearance approved. Nose lights to takeoff.
Check.
Check. Landing lights.
On.
On. Wing lights.
On.
On. Strobes.
On.
On. Runway turn off lights.
Cancel.
Cancel.
All right, so you can see there, you can actually just speak to the checklist and it will complete those for you. You may have noticed if you might have to go back in the recording if you didn't see this, but the microphone icon will show a little recording icon next to it when it is actually actively listening. So just kind of pay attention to that. If it takes maybe half a second to turn on after it's reading the checklist item. So sometimes if you speak way too soon, it might not pick it up properly. And if for any reason it doesn't understand what you said, you do have these colored buttons down here that'll actually allow you to click the response that you wanted, or you can use the keyboard shortcuts for these letters, A, B, C, or D. So you see your positive answer here was on. I would have pressed A. There isn't anything for those neutral answers, but we do have the cancel option as well. So the buttons kind of line up with those. So that's checklists. We'll definitely be using those a little bit more once we get into our flight. Let's move on though. Let's go over to the airports tab. So under airports, you can go ahead and get data from any airport you'd really like. Right now using the aviationweather.gov source. And again, you can switch that to VATSIM if you want. If you don't know your ICAO code for the airport, you have this link here to ourairports.com. Very handy website if you haven't used it before. So let's just say maybe I was flying to Philadelphia or something and I didn't know the ICAO code. You can just quickly come here, see the first airport that shows up, and it shows you right up here at the title, KPHL. It's also listed as the GPS code over here. So just a convenient, quick link there to if you ever need to search for those. But we're going to be flying out of Boston, so let's go ahead and get the information for Boston. I'm just clicking request after I type that in. Takes just about a second to load up there, but we have all of our information. So this information is being pulled from a combination of that METAR source and then also airportdb.io, which is a great third-party source for airport information and even runway information, and we'll show that shortly here. You'll even get a Wikipedia link here for the airport. So if you wanted to learn more about the airport you're going to with the Wikipedia, you get a lot of great info here. You can see we get some runway info. We get the charts here. So that's always available. Let's jump into weather. So the weather right now, you get the full METAR printout here. You're also going to get something just to remind you what source you pulled this from, the Zulu timestamp here, and then also your local timestamp. So this was actually pulled at 3:54. It's about an hour old, so it is a little bit. We'll probably refresh in a moment, and that might update. I think they do hourly updates with this source. Get the wind information, the visibility. If there were any weather to report, it would show up here. Cloud information, the temperature and dew point information in both Celsius and Fahrenheit. If you ever see the M there, I mean, if you're used to reading METARs, you probably already know that that's a minus for negative. So if you do see that, that just means it's a negative temperature. So that's -1 degrees Celsius. And then also your altimeter here as well. You'll get frequencies. So if you ever, not sure which frequency to dial to, if you're doing that manually while doing your simulation, you can go ahead and tune that here, or find what you need the tuning to be. And then lastly, runways, which is my favorite. This will actually show you the best recommended runway for takeoff and landing based on the current wind conditions for that METAR. So you can see right now they're suggesting 22R or 22 left, 22 right, 22 left. Right now they both have the strongest headwind out of any of the runways, and they actually have 0 crosswind right now, which is pretty cool. The ones in yellow that show up usually mean they could be okay. They're, they don't really have like a tailwind or anything, but they usually have a stronger crosswind than headwind. So those are, maybe secondary ones that you might have to try to use, especially on smaller airports if there aren't as many to choose from. And then the red ones are obviously ones that don't have the preferable wind conditions to be taking off or landing on. You're also going to get a whole bunch of detail on the runway here. So you'll get the length, the width, obviously the wind information, which direction crosswinds are coming from, the surface material, and then if the runway is lighted or not. So you can actually see a few of these here. They're not lighted. They'll get a dark circle if they don't have lights for nighttime flights. So that's pretty much it for the airports tab. Definitely handy for in-flight information on your airport and weather. Let's jump to flight plan. This is another one of my favorites. So if you do use SimBrief, so that is obviously a requirement for this if you want to use the flight planning. So if you do use SimBrief, you can use this button here to go and create a SimBrief flight plan. I've already actually created one, so I won't go through that now. But quick link there if you want to just be brought directly into SimBrief to create a flight plan. And once you have that created and generated, you come back here and you're going to click the Load Flight Plan button, which I'll do right now. And you can see it brings in the entire flight plan, top to bottom, all the information you would need, even the maps at the bottom. So yeah, we'll definitely be using this in a bit as well. So that's loaded, that's good to go. Next, let's jump to charts. So charts, right now we don't have integration. The goal was definitely to get Navigraph in here. That's what I use. That's what I know a lot of flight simmers do use. It's preferable. I'll actually open up this page here to show that the reason we cannot integrate at this time, it's really a Navigraph restriction. They allow, in-plane EFBs for flight simulators to be able to use this type of integration. For actual physical EFBs or web applications, desktop applications, anything that's kind of similar or replicating what the Navigraph app already does in some instances, they don't allow to pull in their charts. So that's really why there's no integration at this time. We'll continue to work with them to see if there's any workarounds in the future and possibly get that integrated. I'm also looking at some other third-party options other than Navigraph that we might be able to get something in the time being, because really the goal of this tool is to have everything you would need all in one spot while you're flying. I started flight simulating probably less than a year ago, and I know when I was getting started, you get a lot of recommendations on online groups to use this site for this and use this site for that, and it kind of gets a little messy when you have all these different windows open and you're flying. So that's really what this goal was, is to kind of have a companion app to use that should have everything that you need during your flight. So yeah, for the time being, we will need to use Navigraph separately for charts. All right, let's jump to Flight Stats tab. So a lot of this information here, we have our call sign, departure ICAO, arrival ICAO, the scheduled boarding time, scheduled departure, scheduled arrival, scheduled gate arrival. All of this information does get pre-filled if you bring in that sim brief plan. If you don't have sim brief, you can enter manual values for this as well. So that, if you want to kind of take advantage of the next feature I'm going to show you here without SimBrief, you can still enter manual times if you just want to kind of make up times to fly with. But we're going to use the pre-filled times that came in here. So we can actually see our scheduled boarding time is at 5:15. That's actually in about 15 minutes. So we're going to keep getting moving here. Let's jump to the controller. So the feature I was referring to, so this little checkbox here, if you show the flight stats banner, it's going to bring up this banner at the top of the page that'll really give you a live countdown to the phase of flight that you're in. So you can see here it says boarding in 15 minutes, and we're on time currently. If we go beyond that time, that'll switch to delayed. And then during our flight, we're going to come in here and just press these buttons. They're kind of like stopwatch buttons for each phase of your flight. So when I click boarding, this information up here will switch to boarding, and then it will count down to when the next kind of phase of flight is. So that'd be for after boarding, it's going to be for takeoff, and then for arrival at gate, etc. As we're clicking those, this report tab here is going to record the actual boarding time, the actual departure time, arrival time, gate time, and it's going to compare it against the original scheduled time. So you'll actually be able to see how early or late you are in minutes and hours, really, at the end of your flight. So it's kind of a nice report to review just to kind of see how you did managing your time during the flight. So that's really it for the flight stats. We'll kind of get into more depth as we actually start using the tool during our flight. So without further ado, I think we're good to get started now. Just trying to think if there's any other basics I want to touch on first. Oh, really quick, the bottom of the page, if you do want to go through our terms of use and privacy policy before using the tool, I suggest it. Again, we're trying to be as little data collection as possible. I mean, the app itself really doesn't collect anything. However, there's third-party tools involved with it. So like the voice recognition uses Mozilla's web API. They do have their own privacy policy. I recommend, looking through if you have any concerns with that. Otherwise, you can always just not use the voice recognition part of the app. So worth a read there. And all that information can be found at these links below here. If you ever run into any issues or if you have any enhancement requests, things you'd like to see in the app in the future, we use GitHub for communication. So you would have to set up a GitHub account to be able to kind of view open issues and track them, things like that. And then also submit feedback. So all of the information on that can be found at the support and contact link at the bottom of the page. All right, so let's get in the cockpit and start getting set up here. I'm gonna close the browser screen, and I'm actually gonna open up that banner. So I just set up, I use OBS Studio for streaming, and I actually just kind of grabbed a clip of the top of that browser page so we can use it as a banner during our flight and keep track of the times here. All right, so first thing we need to do is kind of do our pre-flight stuff. So I'm gonna open up the checklist here, and I'm going to start our walk around checklist. We actually need to get outside of the plane first though, so let's switch to our drone camera. And I'm just going to slow the speed down a bit since we're kind of walking around the plane. And it should be fine. And grab my Xbox controller just so I can do the drone. Oh. Yep, keep default, that's fine. Okay. All right, let's start by getting to the front of the plane here. All right, and we'll start our checklist. Actually, let me put on the microphone too, just so we can do the voice activation.
Walk around checklist. Nose tires.
Good.
Good. Nose struts.
Good.
Good. Pitot tubes.
Good.
Good. Static ports.
Good.
Good. Left tires.
Good.
Good. Left struts.
Good.
Good. Left brake wear indicators.
Good.
Good. Left wing leading trailing edges.
Good.
Good. Left wing flaps.
Good.
Good. Left wing slats.
Good.
Good. Left fuel vent ports.
Good.
Good. Left engine fan blades.
Good.
Good. Left engine intakes.
Good.
Good. Left engine exhaust.
Good.
Good. Tail horizontal vertical stabilizers.
Good.
Good. APU exhaust.
Good.
Good. Right engine fan blades.
Good.
Good. Right engine intakes.
Good.
Good. Right engine exhaust.
Good.
Good. Right wing leading trailing edges.
Good.
Good. Right wing flaps.
Good.
Good. Right wing slats.
Good.
Good. Right fuel vent ports.
Good.
Good. Right tires.
Good.
Good. Right struts.
Good.
Good. Right brake wear indicators.
Good.
Good. Windows.
Good.
Good. Doors.
Good.
Good. Emergency exits.
Good.
Good. Walk around checklist complete.
All right. Awesome. Let's jump back in the cockpit. Okay. Next, let's get some power going here. Actually, nope, not yet. We got to do our pre-power checklist. Let's start that.
Pre-power cockpit checklist. Parking brake. Set. Landing gear lever.
Down.
Down. Engine master switches.
Off.
Off. Wipers.
Off.
Off. Weather radar.
Off.
Off. Throttle levers.
Off. Idle.
Idle. Flaps lever. Up. Speed brakes lever.
Disarmed.
Disarmed. Off. Pre-power cockpit checklist complete. Pre-power cockpit checklist complete.
Oh, read that twice because I hit a keyboard button by accident. That's all right. So we're ready to get some power to the plane. Batteries on, external power, nav logo light, seat belts. IRS. All right, let's start our cockpit prep checklist here. Make sure we have everything.
Cockpit preparation checklist. Batteries.
On.
On. External power.
On.
On. EFB power.
On.
On. Nav logo light.
On.
On. ADIRS 1, 2, 3.
Aligned.
Aligned. Seatbelt signs.
On.
On. No smoking signs.
On.
On. Overhead lighting if needed.
Check.
Check. Panel lighting if needed.
Check.
Check. Cockpit preparation checklist complete.
All right. Didn't need any lighting here. It's still pretty bright. We may need to turn it on mid-flight though later. All right, so we're a little ahead of time here. We're going to go ahead and start the boarding checklist here and get that going.
Boarding checklist. Jetway.
Ground American 1988, could you please connect the jetway to the aircraft?
American 1988, the jetway is going to be connected.
All right, see the jetway coming. All right, jetway connected.
Jetway connected. Baggage.
Ground American 1988, could you please send the baggage?
American 1988 baggage is on the way.
Baggage called.
Baggage called. Catering.
Ground American 1988, could you please send the catering truck?
American 1988, the catering truck is on the road.
Catering called.
Catering called. Pre-boarding announcements.
Right, let's get those going.
Good day, passengers. This is the pre-boarding announcement for American Airlines Flight 1988.
Alerted crew.
We would like to
Alerted
invite
crew
passengers with small children
Boarding
and
checklist
any
complete.
passengers requiring special assistance to begin boarding at this time.
All right,
Please have your boarding pass and identification
so
ready.
we are ready for boarding.
Regular
That's going to be
boarding
going on
will
in the
begin
background.
shortly.
And
Thank
let's go
you.
ahead and start getting our flight plan set up now. So let's jump down to our MCDU. Start our MCDU Init A checklist here.
MCDU Init A checklist. ICAO codes.
Alright, so we actually can import on this aircraft here. We're using the Latin VFR. For this purposes of going through this though, I'm just going to do this one manually.
We are now inviting those passengers in Group 1, our first class, business class passengers, and American Airlines Advantage members, to begin boarding. Please use the priority lane marked at the gate for your convenience.
Alright, so Boston to Albany.
Enter. Call sign.
Flight number's already there, that's good.
Enter. Cost index.
We're doing a cost index of 40 today. That was on our flight plan earlier.
Enter. Cruise flight level.
Let's actually check our flight plan for that, because I don't recall. Let me turn the browser on here so you can see. Alright, they have us at flight level 220.
We would now like to continue the boarding process with Group 2. Group 2, you are now invited to board the plane. We ask that you please have your boarding pass and identification ready as you approach the gate.
This is actually a pretty short flight, so I'm actually not going to go that high. I'm going to go about flight level 140. We're going to deviate from the flight plan a little bit. Alright, that's entered.
Entered. IRS in it.
Initialize the IRS, align.
Align. MCD Unit A checklist complete.
Alright. And actually, I forgot, as we started boarding, I forgot to hit the little timer button here, so I'm going to come over to controller, click boarding. So now we can see we're departing in 19 minutes. I should have did that earlier. It's actually going to skew our report a little bit because it just went to delayed, but that's okay.
We now welcome Group 3 and Group 4 passengers to proceed for immediate boarding. Please have your boarding passes ready for a quick boarding process.
EFB checklist. Block fuel.
Alright, so now we're going to our weights in the EFB. Let's check our flight plan. Block fuel, this is in pounds, about 12,916. We're gonna have to go a little bit higher. Okay. Great.
Enter. Payload.
Alright, payload. $41.2. Yeah, it actually does not go that high on this aircraft, so we're just going to max it out. That's fine.
Entered. Verify correct weights.
Alright, let's find our takeoff weight. Yeah, it's close. It's a little bit
Dear
different because we
passengers,
weren't
this is
exact,
the
but
final
that's
call for
alright.
all passengers of American Airlines Flight 1988. All remaining passengers should proceed for immediate boarding as the gates will be closing soon.
Verified. EFB checklist complete.
Alright, EFB is good to go. Alright, next is flight plan.
Flight plan checklist. Flight plan imported or added.
Not yet, so let's do that. Let's check our flight plan and our route. So they have us on 22R for the departure. To right. And we are on Oh, there we go. Okay. Revs 5. Departure. Insert. Alright, and we are on.
Ladies and gentlemen, the boarding for American Airlines Flight 1988 is now completed. If you have missed your flight, please proceed to our customer service desk. Thank you for choosing American Airlines, and we hope to see you soon.
Alright, so they have us on ILS 19 with no star. Okay. So that's entered. And after our departure, we're going to revs, so let's find that point in our departure. There it is. And we're going direct to CTR, so we need to insert that. It's after revs. There's multiple. Let me check a map real quick. Just need a map that shows some latitude and longitude. It is 42. Oh, this one's pretty close to that 40. No, that's too high, so it's the middle one. There we go. Let's make sure we got in there. It is not in there. Why not? Try it again. There we go. Strange glitch there. Now it's there. Okay. Alright, and jump back to the route here after CTR. It's just direct to K Albany, so I think we're good. Yep, there's our ILS landing approach. Okay. So let's insert. Let's just do a quick run through of the flight plan here to make sure it looks correct. Departure, and straight out. Yeah, and then straight in. Yeah, we should be good. Okay, so we're ready for a check on this item.
Check. Departure configured.
Check.
Check. Arrival configured.
Check.
Check. Flight plan verified.
Verified.
Verified. Flight plan checklist complete.
Alright.
Flight director checklist. Flight director on.
Flight director, check.
Check. QNH.
QNH. Let's actually use the. We could just use the sim here to get that information, but I'm gonna go ahead and use the flight dash, flightdash.io to get that. So let's open that up. Let's go to our airports. Let's just request KBOS again just to get the latest. altimeter 3033. I actually just want to verify really quick to make sure I'm on live time and weather right now. Real time. I was not, so that's good to catch here. It's a little bit darker out now. Close to sunset, okay. Alright, so altimeter set, it's on QNH. Let's continue the checklist.
Set. Manage transition altitude.
Keep it at 5,000, that's fine. That's on manage, we're good.
Set. Flight director checklist complete.
Alright.
MCD Unit B checklist. 0 fuel weight.
Alright, init B page, just checking our weights here. Again, we already kind of checked this, it should be good. We weren't able to get it 100% accurate, so we're going to assume we're good here.
Verified. Block fuel.
Should be close to 6.2. Yep, it's very close. Good. Verified.
Verified. Trip wind.
Trip wind. Let's open up our flight plan for that one. Oh, I actually still have the browser open. Sorry about that. What I usually do for trip wind, there are calculations you can do for this too, but I'll usually look at the wind information here. We said we're going to be flying at about 140, flight level 140. So this row here, -14, -25, -24. We're honestly at about -24 is going to be the average, so that's what I'm going to enter in as my trip wind. Headwind at 24 knots. Okay, set.
Set. MCD Unit B checklist complete.
Okay, let's see what's next.
MCDU RadNav checklist. ILS frequency.
We have an ILS frequency there. ILS 19 is our arrival runway right now, so that's good.
Verified. MCDU RadNav checklist complete.
Alright, and next is going to be our performance.
MCDU performance checklist. Takeoff flaps.
So we're going to do flaps 1 takeoff. Set that on the aircraft.
Set. Transition altitude.
Like I said, we're just going to do 5,000 for now, that's fine.
Set. Thrust reduction and acceleration.
That's right here. We're just going to use the defaults for today, so we'll say set.
Set. Flex 10.
We're going to do a toga takeoff. So there are different ways you can do flex temp calculation if you want to get that detailed and use flex takeoff. For the purposes of this demo, I'm just going to do a toga takeoff, so we'll ignore that.
Set. V2, VR, V1 speeds.
Set those.
Set. MCDU performance checklist complete.
Alright, so we should be configured now. Let's go ahead and get our clearance.
IFR clearance checklist. Clearance.
Ground American 1988 IFR to Albany, ready to copy.
American 1988 is cleared to Albany Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 22 left climb and maintain 6,000 feet. Departure frequency is 133.0 squawk 4776.
American 1988 cleared to Albany Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 22 left climb and maintain 6,000 feet. Departure on 133.0 squawk 4776.
American 1988 readback correct. Contact ground on 13 for decimal 05. good day.
Alright, so a few things changed there. I believe our takeoff runway changed, so we're going to need to update that. Squawk 4776 is confirmed. My co-pilot already changed that. Our initial altitude went up to 6,000, so I set that in managed mode. And let's just get that runway updated. So we're now going to be taking 22 left. We're on the Revs 5 departure. So, okay, perfect. So clearance is approved.
Approved. Altitude.
That's already set.
Set. Squawk.
That's set.
Set. IFR clearance checklist complete.
All right. So we're still have a few minutes left for pushback and engine start. I'm just going to go ahead and check Navigraph really quick to just get a layout of the taxiways and runway here. So we're going to be taking 22 left. Going to open up Navigraph here. And just going to import the most recent flight plan. And open up the charts for Boston. Taxi. This is airport one. Yep. Alright, so we are at gate 14 up at Terminal E, right about the top left corner here. We're going to 22L, 22 left. So we are going to likely be... Okay, so we're going to taxi down Bravo likely to November. And then cross runway 22R, 22 right. To 22L. Okay, that's easy enough. Alright, let's get ready for pushback here.
Pushback and engine start checklist. Jetway disconnect.
Ground American 1988, could you please disconnect the jetway from the aircraft?
Alright, disconnected.
Jetway disconnected. Doors closed.
Confirming doors are closed. Looks good.
Check. Fuel pumps.
Alright, let's get the fuel pumps going. Check.
On. APU.
Start up our APU. Wait 3 seconds. Start. See it firing up. And hear it firing up. And it just switched to available, so we're good.
APU started. APU bleed.
Turn on APU bleed.
On. External power off.
External power off.
Check. Peripherals removed.
We didn't do any peripherals, so we're good. Let's just check it just to be sure. I know sometimes they stay on by default. I don't see anything lit up green, so we're good. Check.
Check. Pre-taxi announcement.
Alright, do our announcement.
This is your captain speaking. On behalf of the entire crew, welcome aboard American Airlines Flight 1988. We are delighted to have you with us today. Before we depart, please pay attention to the cabin crew's safety demonstration, even if you're a frequent flyer. Your safety is our top priority, and we appreciate your attention to these important details. We are scheduled for an on-time departure, and we expect smooth flying conditions. Our team of professionals is here to ensure that you have a pleasant experience during this flight. We understand that you have a choice of airlines, and we appreciate that you have chosen to fly with American Airlines. As we prepare for takeoff, please make sure that your seat belts are fastened, your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position, and all electronic devices are set to airplane mode. Once we reach our cruising altitude, our flight attendants will be moving through the cabin to provide you with our in-flight services. Thank you again for choosing American Airlines. Sit back, relax, and enjoy your flight. We're happy to be a part of your journey today.
All right, announcement done. I actually just, if you saw in the browser while that was going on, I toggled over to depart. We haven't actually departed yet, but we're close enough.
Pre-taxi announcement complete. Beacon light.
All right, beacon light. On.
On. Request pushback.
Ground American 1988 requesting pushback.
American 1988 pushback request accepted.
Pushback requested. Release parking brake.
All right, some parking brake.
Check. Engine ignition start switch.
On.
On. Start engine 2.
We'll wait till we start pushing back and get away from the terminal to do that. All right, starting engine 2.
Ground American 1988 requesting pushback tug to steer the aircraft to the right.
American 1988, your request has been transmitted to the operator.
Your engine 2 starting up.
Started. Set parking brake after pushback.
Ground American 1988 requesting the end of pushback.
American 1988 request to end pushback received.
Setting parking brake.
Parking brake set. Wait for engine 2 to stabilize.
Looks like it just stabilized.
Engine 2 stabilized. Start engine 1.
Starting engine 1.
Started. Wait for engine 1 to stabilize.
Just coming alive.
Ground American 1988 with Echo ready to taxi IFR.
American 1988 taxi to and hold short of runway 22 left using taxiway Alpha November, cross runway 15 right November, cross runway 22 right November. Contact tower on 1.225 when ready.
Taxiing hold short runway 22 left using taxiway Alpha November, cross runway 15 right November, cross runway 22 right November American 1988.
Alright, looks like we're just stabilizing engine 2.
Engine 1
Sorry,
stabilized.
engine 1.
Pushback and engine start checklist complete.
Alright, let's get ready for taxi.
Pre-taxi checklist. Request taxi to runway.
Already requested and approved.
Taxi to runway requested. Weather and turbulence radar on.
Let's turn that on. Set.
Check. Engine mode selector to normal.
Check.
Check. APU bleed off.
Check.
Check. APU off.
Check.
Check. Arm ground spoilers.
Armed.
Armed. Max auto brake.
Set.
Set. Anti-skid.
On.
On. Wing lights on. Check. Taxi lights on.
Check.
Check. Release parking brake.
Released.
Released. Begin safety announcements.
Ladies and
Crew
gentlemen,
alerted.
before we depart, we'd like to run
Verify
through some
taxiways.
important safety information.
Verified.
Each seat is equipped with a
Verified.
seatbelt. To
Ready
fasten,
taxi.
insert the metal tip into
Check.
the buckle and adjust
Check.
the strap so it's low and tight across your lap.
Taxi checklist complete.
To release the belt, just lift the top of the buckle. Please remain seated with your
All right,
seatbelt
we're
securely
ready to get
fastened
moving.
anytime the
Here we go.
seatbelt sign is on. In the unlikely event of an emergency, please adopt the brace position appropriate to your seat. This will be illustrated on the safety card located in the seat pocket in front of you. There are several emergency exits on this aircraft. Please take a moment now to locate your nearest exit, keeping in mind that it may be behind you. If cabin pressure changes, masks will drop from above your seat. Firmly pull the mask to extend the plastic tubing and start the flow of oxygen. Place the mask over your nose and mouth, breathe normally, and secure it with the elastic band, even though the bag may not inflate. Oxygen is flowing. Make sure your mask is on before helping others. Life vests are located under your seats. In the event of a water landing, remove the vest from its container by pulling on the tab and then opening the pouch. Slip it over your head, fasten the two straps to the front of the vest, and then adjust the vest around your waist. As you leave the aircraft, inflate the vest by pulling down on the red tabs at the bottom of the vest, or manually inflate it by blowing into the tubes at shoulder level. Please take a moment to review the safety card in the seat pocket in front of you. It gives you a lot more information about the features of this aircraft. Smoking, including e-cigarettes, is not allowed on any American Airlines flight. On behalf of everyone at American Airlines, thank you for paying attention to our safety briefing. If you have any questions, feel free to ask one of our crew members. We hope you enjoy your flight with us today.
Alright, just had to open Navigraph there for a second, just remembering our bearings here for the runway. So we can get on Bravo. And then we need to taxi down this way to November. Alright, while we're on a straightaway here, let's check our flight controls.
Flight controls and brakes checklist. Brakes responsive.
Let's check.
Check. Ailerons responsive.
Check.
Check. Elevators responsive.
Check.
Check. Rudders responsive.
Check.
Check. Flight controls and brakes checklist complete.
Alright. Here's November. Cross runway.
Boston Tower American 1988 ready for IFR departure runway 22 left.
American 1988, altimeter tree 0, decimal tree, wind 214 at 15. Cleared for takeoff runway 22 left.
Cleared for takeoff runway 22 left American 1988.
Alright, clear for takeoff. Just do our quick pre-takeoff checklist.
Pre-takeoff checklist. Request takeoff clearance.
Approved.
Takeoff clearance approved. Nose lights to takeoff.
Check.
Check. Landing lights. On.
Check.
Wing lights.
Check.
On. Strobes.
Check.
On. Runway turn-off lights.
On.
On. Auto brake max.
On.
Check. Anti-skid on.
Check.
Check. Ground spoilers are.
Check.
Check. Alert cabin crew for takeoff.
Cabin crew, prepare for takeoff.
Alerted.
Cabin crew alerted. Ready for takeoff.
Check.
Check. Pre-takeoff checklist complete.
Let's park and brake. Here we go. Alright, let's get airborne. Slide up a little here. Stabilized. V1. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up.
American 1988, contact Boston. Departure on 133 decimal 0. Good day.
133.0 American 1988. Boston departure American 1988 is passing 1,400 feet, climbing 6,000 feet.
American 1988, Boston departure altimeter tree 0, decimal tree. Continue to TJUYY as planned.
Alright. After takeoff checklist.
After takeoff checklist. Autopilot engaged.
Check.
Check. Gear up.
Check.
Check. Climb thrust.
Check.
Check. Flaps up.
Check.
Check. De-ice if needed.
Yeah, let's put it on just in case. Check.
Check. Ground spoilers disarm.
Check.
Disarm. Auto brake off.
Check.
Check. After takeoff checklist complete.
Alright, next checklist won't be until we transition out of our departure.
American 1988 climb and maintain 10,000 feet.
Climb and maintain 10,000 feet American 1988.
Alright, climbing. Coastline of Boston at sunset, pretty nice. Alright, so according to our schedule time, we have about 20
American
minutes.
1988, contact Boston Center on 133.25. Good day.
Going to 133.25 American 1988. Boston Center American 1988 is at 8,400 feet, climbing 10,000 feet.
American 1988, Boston Center altimeter 30.33. Continue to Humo as planned. American 1988, contact Boston Center on 128.75. Good day.
128.75 American 1988. Boston Center American 1988 is at 9,600 feet, climbing 10,000 feet.
American 1988, Boston Center altimeter 30.35. Continue to Humo as planned. American 1988, contact Boston departure on 133.0. Good day.
133.0 for American 1988. Boston departure American 1988 9,900 feet.
American 1988, Boston departure altimeter 30.35. Continue to Humo as planned.
Alright, ATC is busy with the chatter today. So yeah, as I was saying, transition checklist is next. We're actually getting pretty close to ending transition, so I'm going to go ahead and start it.
Transition checklist. Altimeter to standard.
We're going to go with what ATC is giving us. I just set it to 3035, so we're going to say set here.
Set. Landing lights off.
Just double check. I think I already turned them off. No, I didn't because we're not over 10,000, but we're just about there, so turning them off.
Check. Taxi lights off.
Off.
Check. Runway turn off lights off.
Check.
Check. Transition checklist complete.
Alright. Big loop. Looks like that's Logan out to our right there. Oh, you know what? Let's probably should have did this a little earlier. Let's kill the cabin lights for our passengers since it's kind of nighttime. There we go. Those are dark now. Yeah, those are dark now. there's our transition, our last waypoint of the departure. But you know what? I'm gonna request that we can start climbing now. I don't know why we weren't given open climb here to our cruise level. We're only going to 14,000.
Boston departure American 1988. Request 14,000 feet.
American 1988 climb and maintain 14,000 feet.
Climb and maintain 14,000 feet American 1988.
American 1988, contact Boston Center on 133.25. Good day.
133.25 American 1988. Boston Center American 1988 is passing 10,400 feet, climbing 14,000 feet.
American 1988, Boston Center altimeter 30.34. Continue to REVSS as planned.
Alright. I'm actually going to take off the view of my throttle quadrant here. Just we're not going to be using it for a little bit. Just so you can see the full cockpit.
American 1988, contact Boston Center on 124.85. Good day.
124.85 for American 1988. Boston Center American 1988 is passing 13,700 feet, climbing 14,000 feet.
American 1988 Boston Center altimeter 30.3 for continue to REVSS as planned.
Alright, we're at cruise, so let's start our cruise checklist.
Cruise checklist. Seatbelts sign off.
Check.
Check. Cruise announcement.
We have now reached our cruising altitude. You are now free to move about the cabin, but we do ask that when seated, you keep your seatbelt fastened in case of unexpected turbulence. We're expecting a smooth flight and anticipate an on-time arrival. Our flight attendants will be making their way through the cabin to offer refreshments and make your journey more comfortable. On behalf of the entire crew, thank you for choosing American Airlines. Enjoy the rest of your flight.
Alright, complete.
Cruise announcement complete. Cruise checklist complete.
Alright, so since it's going to be a pretty short flight, let's start prepping for our descent.
Descent preparation checklist. Review approach chart.
Alright, let's do that. Approach chart. Navigraph. Let's jump to Albany. Charts. Approach. We're on runway 19. So we need to catch the glide slope at 1600, coming into EMA at 2000. Let's just check the flight plan here. Yeah, so we're going to have to start descending as soon as we hit CTR to reach that for sure. Okay. Let's check our map. We'll be there sooner than we think. We have a little ways, probably about 5-ish minutes
American 1988, contact Boston Center on 123.75. Good day.
123.75 American 1988. Boston Center American 1988 14,000 feet.
American 1988 Boston Center altimeter tree 0, decimal tree 2. Continue to REDSS as planned.
Alright.
Approach chart review. Review airport weather.
Alright. Let's do that. Reports. We're looking up K.
Airport weather reviewed. Configure approach.
Oh, I hit a keywords because I hit the A letter. That's alright. Figure that in a moment once I have the weather here. So we're going to be at 12 degrees Celsius, altimeter 3024, wind 160 at 12 knots, gust 19. Okay. Let's jump to our approach. QNH 3024. Temperature 12 Celsius. Wind 160 at 12. Okay, I think everything else looks good. Let's complete that step in the checklist. Approach configured.
Approach configured. Descent preparation checklist complete.
Alright, good. Sorry, I still have the browser open too. Probably couldn't see what I was configuring. Here's the approach. QNH there, temperature, wind, and we can see our approach and landing speed. So we're going to be roughly upper 140s, 150 for landing. Okay. Just to be safe, I am probably going to request to start our descent a little bit early. Just because we do need to get down to 2,000. We're going to be going over the Quabbin Reservoir. I believe that's what that is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think if we started a little bit before CTR, we'll be alright. Let's take in the views here for a minute. flight's going to be a little delayed, so the scheduled time is kind of like the airline schedule time. The route that SimBrief gave us, it did say it was like a plus 34%. So that's why this is going to be delayed a little bit. But we'll take a look at the report once we land and see how we did. We also had a little bit of a lengthy taxi too, which could also contribute to this. The other thing I forgot to mention earlier is the announcements you've been hearing from the cabin crew. So those right now are actually pre-recorded, but I am actually going to be working on getting some AI voices in the application to be able to do your own crew announcements. That'll actually take into consideration the location you're at, the weather, you know, kind of some personalized details that'll be different every time you use it using AI. So I think that'll be really cool. That one probably is going to be a little bit, maybe a month or so out for sure, but looking forward to getting that released in this application as well. So we are coming up on our last waypoint here before we need to start descending, so I'm going to start getting ready for that. Seatbelt signs back on. Let's do our descent checklist.
American 1988, contact Boston Center on 132.65. Good day.
132.65 American 1988. Boston Center American 1988, 14,000 feet.
American 1988 Boston Center altimeter 30.30, continue to Charlie Tango Romeo as planned.
Alright, let's get our descent checklist going.
Descent checklist. Seatbelts sign on.
Check.
Check. Made descent announcement.
We have now begun our descent and expect to land shortly. At this time, I'd ask that you please return to your seats. Ensure your seat belts are securely fastened, and that your tray tables and seat backs are in their full upright positions. Please discontinue the use of larger electronic devices and secure any carry-on items either in the overhead bins or under the seat in front of you. Smaller handheld devices must be switched to airplane mode and secured. Our cabin crew will now pass through the cabin to make a final compliance check and pick up any remaining cups and glasses. If you have any questions or need further assistance, they are here to help you. We hope you've enjoyed your flight with us today. Thank you once again for choosing American Airlines.
Boston Center American 1988. Request 4,000 feet.
American 1988 descend and maintain 6,000 feet, expect 4,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 6,000 feet, expect 4,000 feet American 1988.
Boston Center, generic November 2689er Foxtrot is at 6,600 feet, climbing 8,000 feet. Generic November 2689er Foxtrot Boston Center altimeter 30.1 continue as planned.
Alright. Just put that into selected mode to kind of force it down to 6,000. We're making our bank here. Alright, so announcement made. Let's continue our checklist.
American
Descent announcement
1988,
made.
you are 49er
Verify
miles
ILS
southeast.
frequency.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect ILS runway 19er approach via Charlie Alpha Mike transition. Cleared to Charlie Alpha Mike.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect ILS runway 19er approach via Charlie Alpha Mike transition. Cleared to Charlie Alpha Mike American 19er 88.
Transitions here, like they're saying, so we're just gonna have to say none. Sir, we're already on runway 19, so we were good. Let's just check our ILS. We have the frequency, so let's say verified.
Verified. Review missed approach chart.
That was on the approach chart, so if we miss, let's pull up paragraph. Turn, just approach, climb 2,000, left turn to 5,000.
American 19er 88, please expedite your descent 6,000 feet.
Let's see what's going on with our descent while we're complaining. But yeah, that's, so left turn up to 2,000, then 5,000 for missed approach. So that's reviewed.
Reviewed. Descent checklist complete.
This pace a little bit for this descent, because we gotta look it down to 2,000. Yeah, we got time.
American 19er 88, contact Albany, approach on 127.15. Good day.
127.15 American 19er 88. Albany approach American 19er 88 is at 7,900 feet, descending 6,000 feet.
American 19er 88, Albany approach altimeter 30.26. Continue to Charlie Alpha Mike as planned. American 19er 88, climb and maintain 10,000 feet.
Climb and maintain 10,000 feet American 19er 88.
We're climb. I feel like ATC always does this kind of weird stuff when we have a strange approach here. It actually looks like we're going to be flying above the airport and then looping back, like directly above the approach path too. This is a strange flight plan for sure. We're just going to stay at this altitude and hope they don't get too annoying. This is a simulation. In real life, we'd obviously follow ATC.
American 1988, please expedite your climb 10,000 feet.
So I do see the airfield ahead.
American 1988, please expedite your climb 10,000 feet.
Alright, since we're going above the airport, let's make it 8,000. No, you know what? Let's just leave it. Back and forth. We'll just leave it here. We're going to be fine.
American 1988, please expedite your climb 10,000 feet.
Oh, we're ignoring you. American 1988, please expedite your climb 10,000 feet. Actually, below 10,000 should have these guys on. Still no
American
set.
1988, descend and maintain 3,200 feet.
There we go.
Descend and maintain 3,200 feet. American 1988.
American 1988, you are 12 miles southeast of Albany. Contact Albany Tower on 119.5 when inbound.
Tower on 119.5 American 1988. Albany Tower American 1988 11 miles southeast inbound ILS runway 19 approach.
American 1988, Albany Tower. Altimeter tree 0.240.
24 wind 17 at 12. Cleared ILS runway 19er approach.
Cleared ILS runway 19er approach American 19er 88.
Just updating the wind here. 173 at 12 is the readout. Start our arrival checklist. We still have a little bit of a loop to do, but
Arrival checklist. Landing lights on.
check.
Check. Nose light set to taxi.
Check.
Check. Runway turn off lights on.
Check.
Check. Arm ground spoilers.
Check.
Arm. Set auto brakes.
Set.
Set. Altimeter set to QNH.
Set.
Set. Arrival checklist complete.
All right. Turn the dome light on for a second so I can see. There we go. Constraints is what I was looking for. Let me set this down to 2000. It's weird how EV says 3,000 at or above constraint, yet the chart said we needed to be at 2,000 by that waypoint. I'm going to throw it into selected mode to get down to that altitude quicker. And also, okay, we're in approach phase, we're good. We're essentially going to go out to a 180 and come back. The same exact approach. Very odd in this flight plan.
$2,500.
Alright, so as we make this turn, we're going to be coming into kind of a final approach at an angle, so let's start that checklist now.
Final approach checklist. Confirm auto brakes set.
Set.
Confirm. Confirm ground spoilers armed.
Armed. Leave. Yep.
Check. Confirm parking brake off.
Off.
Check. And high skid on.
Check.
Check. Overhead clear of white lights.
Check.
Clear. Ready for flaps.
Ready.
Ready. Gear down.
Alright, we're not ready for gear down yet. Hold off here. I do want to start decreasing our speed though. Let's do that. Let's start getting configured for landing speed because this is going to be a quick approach. Once we start to lose speed, we'll start to bring in flaps. Keep an eye on the glide slope too, that should be coming up soon. Capture the localizer and the glide slope. Alright, let's get flaps going. Losing speed. Flaps 1. Flaps 2. Let's get gear down. Down.
Gear is down. Approach mode R.
Let's approach. Check.
Check. Final approach checklist complete.
Alright. Ready for landing. Full flaps.
American 1988, wind 173 at 12. Clear to land runway 19er.
Cleared to land runway 19er American 19er88. Not too bad of a crosswind, so should be able to get a good landing here. Slight crosswind from the left. And my aircraft.
400. 300. 200. 100. 60, 50, 40, 30. 20. Retard, try.
American 1988, contact ground on 121.7.
121.7 American 1988.
All right. Take the auto brake off. Alright, off the runway. Definitely not my best landing, but we're on the ground. So let's do our after landing checklist.
After landing checklist. Made landing announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We have landed, but for your safety and the safety of those around you, we ask that you remain seated with your seatbelts fastened and keep the aisles clear until the aircraft has come to a complete stop at
Cabin
the
crew
gate
made
and the
announcement.
seatbelt sign has been
Flaps
turned
up.
off. We understand everyone is eager to get off the plane,
Flaps
but
are
please
up.
be patient and remain seated.
Disarm and retract
When the
speed
seatbelt
brakes.
sign has been switched off, be careful when opening the overhead compartments as items may have shifted during the flight. Please remember to check your seat and the seat
Disarm
pocket
and
for any
retract it.
personal items.
Auto brake off.
If your mobile device is within reach,
Check.
you may now switch off airplane mode.
Anti-skid off.
On behalf of American Airlines and the entire
Check.
crew, we'd like to thank you for joining us on
Landing
this
lights
trip,
off.
and we are looking forward to seeing you on board again soon. Have a great day.
Check. Runway turn off lights off. Check. Strobe lights off. Check. Request taxi to gate.
Albany Ground American 1988 taxi to the gate.
American 1988 taxi to gate 8 Bravo via taxiway Delta Alpha Echo cross runway 1 Delta Alpha.
Taxi to gate 8 Bravo
requested.
via taxiway Delta
APU
Alpha Echo cross
start.
runway 1 Delta Alpha American 1988.
APU started. After landing checklist complete.
Alright, let's see, what gate did they give us? We gotta check the chart real quick. 8B. Let's pull up Navgraph. Alright, we came in 19. Very not so lovely landing. Okay. The gates. There it is down here. 8B. E8. On the tip there. So we're gonna taxi right out of here. Okay. It's easy enough to find. We'll be alright. Actually might be right in front of us. Turn on lights. think it is right in front of us. Easy. Alright, let's do it. This one here, but there was definitely another aircraft there, so we're gonna take this one and just call it 8B next to JetBlue. Oh, this guy. Parking brake on. Just check. Off. Let's external power on. It's not available here, so we'll leave AP done. Seatbelt signs off, and lights on in the cabin. There we go. Ground. Jetway connection.
Albany Ground American 1988, could you please connect the jetway to the aircraft?
American 1988, we can't connect the jetway to the aircraft. Please retry later.
Oh, well that's no good. Alright. Yeah, see the problem is this airport doesn't have any lines to line you up, so I'm probably on the wrong side of the gate. I already shut down my engine, so we're gonna use stairs. Alright. Let's kill some of those lights.
Parking checklist. Taxi lights off.
Check.
Check. Cabin lights on.
Check.
Check. Engines off.
Check.
Check. Seatbelt sign off.
Check.
Check. Beacon light off.
Check.
Check. Request jetway connection.
Requested.
Jetway connected. Request baggage.
All set.
Baggage requested. Request catering.
All set.
Catering requested. External power on.
We need to Power unit. How can we turn it on? Just for this, we'll just pretend that it's on. Check.
Check. Parking checklist complete.
Alright, ready for shutdown.
Shutdown checklist. Nav and logo light off.
Check.
Check. EFB power off.
I can't really turn it off here, so we'll say check.
Check. APU bleed off.
Check.
Check. APU off.
Check.
Check. Fuel pumps off.
Check.
Check. No smoking signs off.
Check.
Check. Anti-skid off.
It's already off. Check.
Check. Wipers.
Didn't use them, but they're off. Check.
Off. ADIRS off.
Check.
Check. External power off.
Check.
Check. Batteries off. Check.
Check.
Cabin lights off.
Check.
Check. Shutdown checklist complete.
All right. So that was a complete flight of using flightdash.io. Hope everyone enjoyed. Have a great evening.